Oh, there we go. Okay, now you should be able to hear me on the stream.
Is it just me? Or is the transcription bot a lot less accurate than it should be?
Which setting did you choose? Like standard?
Balanced.
Yeah, that's the one I usually choose.
All right, I'm back.
Okay, I think we're ready to get started. Thanks everyone for your patience. I think I'll go start off. Oh yeah, so this is the November 2025 General Staff Meeting. I'll start off right away. So staff have voted on Auburn, which is our premier candidate during the private portion. Originally, we thought that we wouldn't be able to get quorum, or in the sense, not enough staff votes because MISA and MBF have decided to. Well, MISA has to abstain because it is his town, and MBF has decided to abstain from the vote because he will eventually become the caretaker slash deputy mayor of the city. So that only left about 8 staff votes there. But we were able to get a 9th vote from Frozen, so we are able to announce a result right now at the GSM. So with a vote of 9-0, we are happy to say that Auburn will be promoted to premier at this GSM. Missa also told me that he did not have a speech prepared. So, Missa, I don't know what you want to do. I don't know if you want to make up something now, or do you just want to submit it in a written portion? I'll submit one later today. Okay, so you'll see the speech. So no verbal speech, I guess, here, but you'll see that in the GSM results when those get posted. Okay, so that is done. Let's go choose our location of where we're going to do the meeting. So let me get the wheel up. Oop. Okay. And how do I stream onto Discord? There we go. Okay. So I'm going to spin the wheel, and we'll see where the GSM location is. Okay, the wheel has chosen the Bristol Amphitheater in Bristol at very specific coordinates. So let's see what that is. Oh, is that it?
I found the admin thing. Found the admin. Sorry.
Yep, well, it's one column specified.
One column. Okay, so all GSM builds must be within those exact 1 by 1 pillar in the world, I guess. I don't know. That sounds unrealistic.
Okay, so this is our location. And that's that. You people go ham there. I'm sure Minecraft 252 will appreciate all the additions you'll make there.
All right, let's see here. Who is there?
Okay, moving on to the... Sorry, I'm just getting my bearings here. So, done the Premier City review. We are going to... There's no conductors here, so we're going to move on to the moderator, one single moderator candidate for this meeting. That is Awesome Keldeo. I think I forgot to make a voting table. Give me a sec here. Also, can I get a volunteer to fill out the minutes?
Sure.
Okay, thank you, AP. Just give me a sec here. Sorry, guys. I forgot to put a table to put our votes in.
Oh yeah, you're still sharing your screen.
Oh, whoops. get out of here. How do I turn this off? Let's... Okay. I think I'll just copy Moraine's table. Here we go. And Moraine has to be added here. Okay, we're ready to vote. Sorry for the delay. Oh, damn it. I also need to randomize the list. Who farted? What is that noise?
It would be a goat horn.
Let's see.
You know that's going to get clipped.
Okay.
Oh no!
Okay, so here we go. So we're going to start voting here. I'm going to call people's names. So we're voting on Awesome Keldeo for moderator. First up is Needon, who did not vote. I did not receive an absentee ballot. Next is 7D, who just sent it in right now, his absentee ballot. 7D is voting for. Next is Jinty.
Neutral.
Jinty votes neutral. Next is Foot.
4.
Foot is voting for. Zooj did not submit an absentee ballot and is not here, I think. So did not vote, I guess. HVT submitted an absentee ballot of 4. I am going to vote neutral. Next is Alpha, who did not vote and did not submit an absentee ballot. So that's that. Moraine has submitted an absentee ballot of, just checking here, 4. Next is Frozen. I'm not sure where he's going to put his vote. Frozen is voting for. Next is MBF.
I did submit this nomination, so yeah, 4.
Oh, yeah. Well, sorry, I forgot about it. So, yeah, MBF is voting for. Sesh.
I'll be voting for.
Sesh is voting. Yeah, oh, sorry. I need to remove Skelly because it's not staff anymore. Okay. Again, I copied from last meeting's, or Moraine. I copied from Moraine's voting table on the minutes there. So, yeah, it's not Skelly. And then next is Missa. Missa's voting for AP.
Voting for.
AP's voting for Polo. Oh, yeah, Polo's here.
I'm voting for.
Polo's voting for. Vicky, no absentee ballot. I did not, so did not vote. And finally, DNA submitted an absentee ballot. I think DNA is supposed to come in later today. He voted for. What's this? The 4. What happened here? Oh, I see.
Me tallying up.
Okay. That's a way to do it. Okay, so any comments from people who voted for or neutral? Any about or actually let me just read out some of the things that Moraine and DNA said and some of the other absentee ballots. So Moraine says awesome Keldeo, who I will call Keldeo, has shown in every interaction I've had with her that she's a fantastic candidate for moderator. She's calm, kind, courteous, and she has shown a very high level of maturity and patience. Kel has a very outgoing and friendly personality, one that is a right match for this role. She's also very active on the server, which is a big plus. If Kel were to get given mother, I believe that due to her personality and way she conducts herself, that she would be reflective of her own behavior, and if any issues arise, take action to improve it. That she would clearly communicate very clearly to both players and other staff, and that she would always enforce rules fairly and objectively. Overall, I believe she embodies all of the traits that we would want to have in a moderator. And DNA, where's DNA's? Oh, hold on here. I'll just read it. Oh, HVT has said 4 have worked with them for projects in the past and they have been enjoyable to work with. 7D says 4. Evidence, honestly, not very convincing, but from my experiences with Kel, I'm confident she'll be great to work with and would benefit the community a lot. And DNA, forget DNA submitted a whole other Google Doc for this. Keldeo has been a member of the MRT server for many years now, is currently ranked conductor. They have established a genuine commitment to assisting members of the MRT, active and well-known through the community. Moderated nomination submitted by MBF and ATHS contains some compelling evidence of why Kel would be an valuable asset to the staff team. Yep, that's pretty much it. Okay, sorry. Any comments here from the people that are attending here?
Yeah, I looked at the application. It's maybe not the strongest in the world, but yeah, from previous experience of LDR, I have no qualms about them being on the staff team at all. I think she'll do very well as a moderator.
Mm-hmm. So it's me and Ginty who voted neutral. Ginty, feel free to pipe in, but the reason I'm voting is I don't feel like I know Kel that well, so I'm not entirely. I'm sort of leaving. I'm sort of leaning on leaving this up to the rest of the staff community to decide here. So I don't know if I can provide an opinion. I don't know if that matches your opinion here.
I guess I just haven't seen that much of Kel recently, even though I know she's been very active. But just I guess lack of personal actual interaction with the
That's fair. Yeah, pretty much. I'm in the same boat. So far, I've not heard any negative comments about Kel, unless, I mean, if someone wants to bring it up, now is the time to do so. But otherwise, it looks like we, based on a vote of 11-4, 2 neutral, and 2 neutral, it looks like this will be a promotion.
Yay.
Yep.
Okay, hearing nothing else. I think.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I think I'd like to change my vote to 4.
On what reasoning?
Like looking back, I have noticed that Kel, I do think she has the experience, and she's also active enough that I'm not worried that she'll just get the role and then not doing anything. Yeah.
Not do anything.
Or sorry, not. I'm not worried that. I'm definitely not worried about activity, but. God.
You don't think they're going to do anything bad? Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah. I think that's about right.
Okay. Okay. Sure. You can change your vote to 4.
Yeah, that makes it 12-1-0.
Should I cave to peer pressure or just stick with my guns? I'm just gonna stick with my gun and just be the neutral vote. It's not anything against Kel, it's just more I don't feel like I have personally I don't feel like I have enough information to vote in that direction, so I'll just leave it the way it is. Okay, no other vote changes, no other further comments here. This is the last call. Okay, hearing nothing, congratulations, Awesome Kellio. You have been our newest moderator, a vote of 12-1. Yep, I'll promote you toward the end of the meeting. Hopefully I won't forget. There will be, yeah, there's a whole procedure for staff promotions, so I'll have a chat with you about that later. Oh yes, yeah, good reminder. Yeah, mod promotions are effective. So if you're promoted here, you cannot vote. Technically, you can't really discuss any of the other further topics now. You just sit tight. Okay, moving on to the community. We got quite a bit for this meeting actually. So community issues. We got the first one is rules for intercity hidden rail train cart lines. This is mainly written by Simon. Simon, yeah, I thought you said you might not be able to make it. Are you able to talk about it here at the meeting now? Okay, let's bring up Simon here to introduce us to this topic. I can never figure out how to get people invite to speak. There we go.
Hey everyone, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello.
Brilliant. So yeah, thanks all for considering this proposal. So I'll sort of give the background to why I'm proposing this, in that I am looking to establish a realistic boat network around the Southern Sea based out of Porton, facilitated using train cars. So you've got a boat-looking object which can physically travel between different ports of call. Now, there's not really any rules in place for this right now. The most applicable rules in my eyes in the current rule set is going to be the just standard rail rules, because to use the train cart system to have that connection, there does still need to be a physical rail. It's just that by nature of it, but by nature of the train carts facilitating a boat or another non-rail based transport type, it just means that the rail itself is hidden, hence the name hidden rail train carts systems. So if you look at the agenda, I've put forward a proposed set of, first of all, rules, the rules mostly matching the set of rail rules, but specifying what is and isn't allowed for the intercity hidden rail lines. And then there's also some policies and procedures which, while not really enforceable, it's for people when they are making proposals to demonstrate that they are meeting making best case to meet said procedures, and that's just along the lines of making sure the rails are as deep as possible, so that they aren't going to interfere with any traditional rail systems, warp rail, MRT track, other third-party rail, etc. Before I open up to discussion, I think probably the only other thing I'll specifically point out is I have unlike the rail rules where we have the concept of the 4,000 block waiver. So if you're going intercity under 4,000 blocks with a normal railway, you're totally fine to you're totally fine to just build it without prior staff permission. I have elected in this set of rules to say that any intercity use of hidden rail systems must gain staff approval. And the reason I've done that is just
okay.
because it's first of all, I'm not immediately expecting a inundation of requests for this, so I don't think it's going to add too much. Yeah, it's going to add too many requests for you all to look at. So I don't think it's going to add too much work just saying every intercity non-rail train cart system needs to be proposed. The benefit, however, and the reason we have done that is that it's that the tracks themselves, because they should comply with those sort of policies and procedures, the best case for how they're employed. It just means that we're not going to get smaller intercity distances where you've got these hidden rail systems potentially very shallow beneath the surface, which could very easily have other transport types run into them. I've run on there for a little bit, so I think I'm happy to open up for any questions you guys may have.
Okay. Unless anyone wants to go first.
I disagree with the idea of any intercity hidden line has to be approved. Say, to use an example, like Ellerton Fosby has a couple of hidden TC local bus lines, and as it happens to be, under the proposed rules, if somebody was to set up a town neighbouring, to run bus service into that town would require approval, whereas by warp it would not. Which feels like a very arbitrary restriction.
I'm thinking maybe what we could do is the same rules as for B road designations. If it's less than 500 blocks, you don't have to worry about it, and it can be considered under local rules in general.
I would caution against trying to complicate the rules with all these little exceptions. The 500 one applies to roads, but I think if you want to be consistent with, I get AP's point, if you want to be consistent with what is allowed for warp rail and regular train carts, then we should try to match it with what they're allowed, which would be the 4,000 waiver rule. I don't know, Simon, what do you think about it overall? Like, what's the intention for making it always be approved?
For me, it was just a case of like 3,000. Let's say a 3,500 block line. That's still quite a significant train cart system, and if someone is building that system and not following the best practices because they don't have to get it approved, it could cause interference with other services. So for me, it was a case of it. I don't think there's going to be that many people exploiting it, and like, sure, if Accelerate 3 months from now, there's a load of people wanting to do this and it's becoming too prohibitive for staff to approve, then it can be easily relaxed. But just as a initial implementation, I think it would be better that any intercity line has to be the person has to demonstrate how they are complying with the best practice shown in policies and procedures.
So basically, yeah, because these kind of lines require a little bit more care, we want to restrict them a little. We want to at least see where people are built. I think it'd be also good information for staff to at least see where people are building them and how often they are. So,
have my absentee ballot already been read for this issue as well?
No, I have not actually read any absentee ballots. Sorry. So you can go ahead, Uni.
Okay. I was just going to say, I think I did mention to Simon in the community issue on there as well. I think we said in regards to getting permission from mayors, I think we said we'd have like a bit of a review after maybe a couple of months of this being implemented. So I don't know if maybe, as Simon's mentioned, having it just be proposed for the first maybe 2 to 3 months, we can come back to that. It's sort of the January/February GSM to review whether that's actually the best process to have in place. Just to get a feel for how people actually implement these lines in practice. I think it'd be a good idea to do that. So.
Reading also Moraine's absentee ballot. I'm voting for it mainly because of point 5 under policies and procedures. Not having to make a proposal for hidden TC lines visiting multiple towns seems like a loophole that needs to be closed before it's potentially exploited. All of the points contribute to making all lines pretty, which I appreciate. TC hidden rail lines are also well defined in opposition to normal rail lines, which helps massively with communication. Overall, a well-written proposed rule, and one that seems to be need to close it. Okay, I put possible loophole. Okay. The other absentee ballots, HVT has no opinion. And 7D, 7D seems in favor of generally for it. So
I would just say as well, there's a couple of the points I did put in my ballot as well. I think in regard to proposing the lines, I think it might be a bit unreasonable for staff to do this, but it would be nice to have like a record of where these lines run. Again, I don't really know how feasible that would be in practice, but because they're a bit more complex compared to warp rail, if they do ever get destroyed with the world edit or accidentally built over, it might be quite helpful to be able to trace the lines back to their original owners so they can actually come and fix it. Again, I don't really know how we'd actually track them in practice. I'm sure they'll be sprawling across the world at some point, but we could at least do that for the first couple of months, I suppose, to see how that goes as well.
If all the lines are being proposed anyway, we already have that record, don't we? Because
yeah, we would do. Yeah, it's I suppose I'm saying if we moved away from proposals, we wouldn't have that record anymore. So I'm saying it might be
True.
a justification to keep proposing come the time we come to review this again. So
yeah, I'd say just we don't need a separate yet another document for this, but if we do come to that point, then yeah, we can consider it at that point. But yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, AP.
This feels like the sort of thing where we should have a canonical infrastructure map. Because that seems the most kind of... We're ultimately trying to encode spatial data into spreadsheets, which is doable, but not fun. Whereas if we want to see where say a particular rail line is, having a map people can view to go, this is where the TC lines are, that might be more useful.
Yeah, no, I agree, because we already had an example of that not working that well, and that's the road list. I would say the road list only it lists all the roads, but it doesn't have. It just shows where they begin and where they end. It doesn't really help. There's no visual aid there, right?
No.
Would it be possible to, obviously with Dynmap, could it be possible to have sort of like a crappy road map for them, where we just do very approximate lines just every couple hundred blocks, so we can get a rough idea of who owns different lines in the future? Is that something that we could do, or is that a bit too much to actually?
We don't even in practice. We don't mark the regular roads.
Yeah.
I was going to say at that point, like you could probably just apply the same logic for why don't we mark any rail line, but at this point it's sort of too late.
Yeah.
Well, suppose what I'm saying, the difference is because it's a new thing, we could actually maybe say from the get-go we're going to mark just the approximate routes that they take, not for any aesthetic reasons, just so that we can go back in the future and see who actually owns a line. Might be quite helpful, might be a bit impractical in reality, but
okay.
Yeah, for these underground hidden lines, there might not be any distinguishing design features like there are with standard lines.
That's true.
Okay, I think we're getting a little off topic here. I think that is definitely a project that someone could establish later on.
I would argue that this is on topic because part of the idea of this project is that we start it immediately upon the beginning of this being allowed.
What exactly are we doing? Tracking
Approved lines.
But we don't have. The problem is we don't have an effective means of doing so. Just putting it on a spreadsheet is not terrible. I would argue is not that useful. Sorry,
I was just going to say the benefit of also saying that just we need a proposal by default is that if you determine that that's necessary in the future, you have 100% log of all intercity ones that have been made. So if it is becoming a problem in 3 months from now, well, you just filter the proposals channel down and you've got a complete list from the beginning of this being implemented.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the proposals in themselves will be the record. If we need to relax the rule such that people don't need proposals, then we can start looking at collecting that data into something. it sounds like it has to be a spreadsheet, but as people have said here, the spreadsheet is not great. I think what we need is a visual solution, and that is not something that we can like a map. But we don't have the technical or we don't know what that would look like, right? Dynmap.
Yeah.
I feel like just adding more stuff to Dynmap is not is bad solutions. It's already filled with too much stuff. So I think we need to think of something a bit more sophisticated. I don't know what that is though. So.
And sorry, just one more example for I've realised another reason why I hadn't originally said that. Just every intercity one should be proposed, which is given that the guidance on these lines is they should operate as far as close to the bedrock layer as feasible. Unlike other rail lines, it's significantly more likely that these hidden rail contraptions will operate at the same Y level. And like I'm thinking mainly like people setting up plane routes between towns. It's likely that those hidden rail lines will need to intersect with each other. So going through a proposal just ensures that the person that is proposing the line has fully scouted out the route that they are going to take, has identified where where their new line may intersect with any existing lines, and makes sure that they're communicating with those other infrastructure owners to facilitate the appropriate crossings.
Yeah. So we also don't know how popular these hidden rail lines are. It could be like we just start seeing, even with the proposals, we could start seeing a lot of explosions, and then, as you said, Simon, we'll see a lot more possible intersections of them. But it's also possible that maybe these lines we don't see that many proposals, and maybe we don't have to worry about intersections as much. We don't know, but I guess we'll find out if we approve this.
It is completely possible. I elected to make a set of rules that was stricter. Like it's easier to start strict and relax it than it is to go the other way.
Mm-hmm. So sorry. The reason why I feel like we're going on a tangent because I want to go back to AP's original point about the 4,000 block rule. Like AP does, out of all the discussion, what are you thinking now? Like, are you still thinking there should be an exception or no?
AP was just gone, so I think.
No, he's still here.
Yeah, sorry, I had to dip out for 2 minutes.
Oh, I did not. So, sorry, I did not know that. Yeah, AP. So, I don't know if you heard the rest of the conversation, but I'm going back to your original point. Has your position changed regarding the 4,000 rule, or do you still think there needs to be an exception, or not?
It's 4,000 is definitely too long without an exception. You do get cases of neighbouring towns. And also the question like when the border is a little bit askew, but yeah, it's probably simpler to go and not have the exception within a certain radius to say anything intercity needs to have a proposal. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit more work for us in the short term, but it's a bit more work for us, but it's perhaps a little clearer.
Yeah, you probably missed what I just said to Simon, but we also don't know how popular these hidden rail lines are. So either they are very popular, and if it gets to a point where having to propose these gets kind of annoying, then we can relook at these rules maybe like in 3 or 6 months' time. But it's also very possible maybe we don't see that many hidden rail lines, and then at that point it's like, okay, the rules as is should be fine, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
on the documentation side, it would be nice if we had some tool that just let us draw over Dynmap, as it were. Aside from just in-game, which from our own experience is a pain.
It sounds like that might be a separate software project.
It might be.
On it,
Yeah.
well, 7D did makes. I mean, there's the whole city map thing, so maybe that's something we could utilize, or I don't know. DNA. I don't know if DNA want. If you have any ideas of around that.
I don't. The only thing I could think of, as I was sort of saying earlier, I don't know if it's sort of using map technology. I don't know if you can have like a hidden layer maybe, where we could just like obviously with roads, we plot roads, we do it quite precisely. But would it be possible to have just sort of a hidden one that we just sort of sloppily do? Like we just, if it's got bends, we just kind of roughly trace over. So obviously for staff purposes, we can see where lines run, but it doesn't have to look pretty. I suppose taking away the effort of actually drawing it. I don't know if that would help at all, but I think maybe it needs a bit of a brainstorm.
The way the city map works, it is basically a Dyn map image background, but with points. So I think it'd be possible to just do the same thing with lines, but again, that'd be that's engineering work. So I don't know.
well, that we can brainstorm that, I guess, afterwards. We've got a bit of time, to be honest. But
okay.
The only other thing I was going to say that's sort of a little bit less related, is very pedantic as well, is where the definition for TC hidden rail lines. I just wanted to bring up the point that obviously you can use train carts for non-transport things, like for doors and things like that. So if we want to be a bit pedantic, we could maybe just clarify that this is for non-rail transport links specifically. If we wanted to, so
in intercity specifically, like I imagine all those other train cart usages are not intercity. They seem very localized.
No.
Like
it wasn't clear in the rules that they weren't. It wasn't about transport, but that's just a wording issue, so it doesn't really matter too much. But just to be pedantic.
So just to clarify, the rules that I've drafted are specific to intercity train cart hidden rail systems. There is no restriction on how people use train carts within their own towns.
Yeah, so effectively, I'm just saying, just word it so we just clarify that it is just for transport lines, I guess. But that's just pedantic, really. So,
well, I can't see any other intercity applications that wouldn't be transport. So I think
can.
Oh no! I've put the MBF sushi place right on the border.
like a meteor animation or something, or a shooting star that I don't know.
Yeah, I can. If you want some examples, I can give them.
Let's put those aside. Maybe let's maybe say those are not part of these rules. If we want additional rules later on for shooting stars, I guess then
we might add them onto these rules if we do allow them, but
maybe
otherwise no.
Yeah. Okay.
I think probably the other point which is worth explicitly discussing is the rule number 7 that I'm looking to implement. Exactly. So I have included on. Yeah, so I have included on the rules that where a train cart hidden rail line exists, players may also establish warps between points of call. Now, the reason I've done that is to add parity with what we're now, I believe, a fairly commonplace referred to as hybrid rail, where you effectively have either a normal minecart or a train cart minecart line that when it gets into the station effectively parks itself within the shell of a warp rail train, and like you can both you can either ride the minecart / train cart to get to the destination, or you can right click the warp sign. Now I believe that should be applicable for these hidden rail systems as well, so I have proposed the rule that by default any hidden rail system can have warps, but people may disagree with that. So yeah, thought it was worth the explicit conversation.
Examples of things existing at the minute are Times Red Train and the Ursville Metro.
If I may add to that, the reason why we have the rule that warp vehicles must be present at each stop is to prevent people from just building a post with a warp sign on it and saying, "Yep, built a bus line." If I'm correct, it's to make sure that people do actually put in a little more effort. But I think having a functioning train carts line between two places is certainly effort, and that I would be willing to count that as enough to be able to just have a warp sign on a post nearby.
So really, this rule is to allow for that, because normally, as you said, you need to build a train there, or like a
Yes.
block train of some sort. But
The current hybrid examples, like Red Train, for example, are minecart train carts, and they pass through the actual warp block train. And the reason why that might not work is that with train carts attachments, you're already talking a full-size vehicle. So, for example,
It's already very quirky, is the best word I can find for it. Having the cart clipping to the train. So continue.
okay,
I don't think that we should require a block train if there is an existing train carts train.
okay. It sounds like we're in agreement. Rule 7 can stay. It's okay. So we can do that. Okay. There was one other thing I wanted to bring up. Simon, did you see Alpha's comments in the late? They were late added to the thread there.
I haven't. No, sorry. Let me open the thread now.
Yeah. So to summarize, Alpha is suggesting relaxing rule number 3 to require proposals. It says that it needs to go to existing towns, but he's pointing out that what if people want to build TC lines to things that are not towns, like examples, gondolas at national parks or safari tours at natural reserves, because those are technically not towns.
I
So
think you can remove the town rule entirely because if it's going through proposals, then we can easily sort out.
yeah, but the rules currently says towns very explicitly. So
Yeah.
Existing infrastructure, settlements.
well, Alpha says he's suggesting actually removing rule 3 entirely and then changing rule number 4 to say, what did he say here? All TC hidden rail lines except for lines that serve only a single registered town must be submitted for staff approval.
Yes, but I also think that saying registered towns is also an issue. Because, for example, if somebody has just started a town and wants to build train carts in it, but hasn't gotten it registered yet, that is ambiguity, and I don't think that we need that.
Well, so an unregistered town is still a town.
Yeah.
But, I don't think this is an issue just for train cart hidden rails, because the current rail lines, which I copied it from, says railways must be built with the intention of providing services to existing towns. So if we're changing it for train carts, well, we probably should also change it for other modes of transport in the rules.
Sure, that's fair. Yeah.
For me, I would probably just say, to prevent rule bloat, just keep it as is and say, say that thinking about it, actually, if it's just within a national park, I wouldn't say that is intercity, because it's not going between two different settlements. It's just staying within the same settlement. So that wouldn't be applied to these set of rules anyway.
No, consider, what if it's going from a town to a national park? That is technically going from a town out into the middle of nowhere based on the definition of the rules here, right?
I recommend replacing the word town with the word development.
I'm not necessarily sure of that, just because the entire rest of the rules talks about towns, and especially like the ranks page as well. Everything like towns is the preferred terminology.
Yes, but developments includes more than just towns. It's a broader category.
Well, surely we could just say towns, and like any exceptions have to go through staff approval. We can just vote on that separately.
Yeah,
that works.
I would tend to agree.
Yeah, maybe the other thing, if we have explicit, must serve one, towns serving more than one town, sorry, routes serving more than one town, or greater than N blocks in length, 500 blocks outside
Nope.
of a town.
No. That's not that necessarily won't work, because what if it's longer? What if the preserve is longer than 500 blocks? No, I don't think that's going to work.
Then that would need proposal.
Also, maybe like just the simpler one here is actually to go the other way and just say if it's not a town, it can still be registered as an unranked town.
Yeah.
Like if there's a significant build, there's nothing to stop those settlements being registered as towns. Just if they're not going to get 10 explicit builds, they'll stay unranked.
I think the bigger issue is what we don't have rules around registering towns that aren't really a town, right? We don't.
That's true.
We don't. If we solve that, then if we solve that problem, then that solves this problem. So I don't know if we want to try to solve that now and change that rule somehow.
I think that is a very large can of worms.
What rule again? Just the town versus settlement one?
Basically, so the problem, Simon's based these rules on the existing rules, which say it's all around towns. But Alpha's throwing a little wrench here, saying, like, what about things that aren't explicitly, or what you would consider towns, like nature preserves, like, because there are things that are like gondolas or safari tours that would probably want to use hidden rail, right?
Yeah.
Like for me, those I don't know of any safari parks on the server, or like any. The only national park I explicitly know of is Grey Cloud National Park, which is part of Grey Clouds. Like for me, those developments should still be registered in some way, and the cleanest way of doing that is as a town.
But they can't at the moment because they're not towns. I consider the it may not. There are not many out there yet, but consider the possibility that someone wants to build a national park. They can't register it because it's not a town technically. That's the issue here, I think.
Why couldn't it be registered as a town though? If it's still a significant build, if someone has done a lot of landscaping, that for me it's still significant enough that it could be registered as one. It's just probably not going to get ranked.
It may not have the buildings. I think.
So you don't need a town hall to be registered, I didn't think.
You don't need a town hall.
What do you need to be a registered town?
It's usually at least a few buildings, but.
Well, we say a couple of buildings, but I thought that was analogous to just there has to have been some effort put into it. And if someone's gone to the extent of making a national park, to me that still constitutes significant effort for it to be registered.
I guess the thing is, has there been any example? I don't know. I haven't seen this problem come up before where someone wants to register, has built something but hasn't registered because the rules say don't explicitly allow it, or maybe they thought that they assumed that it wasn't allowed. I don't know. So
we could have registered development as a registered development rather than a registered town, just in the case of things are eligible for town stroke city ranks, but we can register development.
Actually, here's an example just came up in my head. Time did the hotel building contest in Ikalapa. That is technically a bunch of buildings that he didn't build. But he did build the rail system there. Is that a town?
He built a hotel.
Well, it would be a community town.
Is it registered as a community town already? I think maybe it is.
Because the town list still has a mechanism of registering it as community.
Okay. I'm just going to look it up quickly, but
it's the same with like GSM Town, or I forget the name of the ice spikes.
Yeah, it's not registered. Town. It's not registered in the town list at the moment.
Another thing that pops to mind is if a town becomes splintered, as it were. Like town, start as one town, you build a hidden rail TC line in it, and later down the line they split the town off into to registered ones. That's not something we've done very often. I'm not
Or
sure if we have
mergers.
at all. Yes.
That's a separate.
Mergers.
Yeah, we've done mergers, and that's a separate issue. I would say, like, that's not related to what we're discussing here, in my opinion. Like,
Yeah,
I
you don't
think
have to
if a
destroy the
line-
rail line just because it's now intercity when it wasn't before.
yeah,
Yeah, we'd still probably want the record there, but we can probably
Well,
do
it
the
would
record.
be close to the other town,
True.
so it couldn't be very long. Unless it's like Deadbush we're talking about, in which case it's still all developed.
okay. How about we say, I'll suggest this as a way to go for it. We can leave the rules as is. In the event that someone wants to build this hidden rail line for their so-called not a town, we could either suggest them that they registered as a town, or we make an exception in the proposal, because it is something that is not, it's not typical, right?
Yeah, because I mean, you've still got the rule. Rule 3 still says train cart hidden rail lines must be built with the intention of providing services to existing towns. They must not be built in the middle of nowhere for no reason. So if it isn't going to an existing town, it's going to need to be proposed anyway. And at that point, we can keep the rules simple, and staff will consider it on a case by case.
What if we just remove the first sentence and only keep they must not be built in the middle of nowhere for no reason?
That's
That's the only thing we're trying to avoid, right?
that is
We
true.
can't just say something. We can't just say other, like have the category other in the town list for other stuff.
Let's.
Oh,
I'm not sure if we want to.
I like that idea.
I don't. I don't know if we want to add another category of stuff in there.
What else
For
would you
me,
put them in?
it's either an unranked or it's a community town, regardless of if it's got builds or not.
I'm not. So what? Going back to the other category, I don't know if we want to add that now, because I feel like it feels like a can of worms to me. I don't know what the implications are of doing that. Like, I also don't know how many things. It could be anything. What's the definition of an other thing, right? I think it needs more thought of what we're going to do there, right?
Yeah, and also the question of whether something registered as other should get 300, 500 protection. Somebody could register a motorway service station as other. I would argue that probably doesn't want 300, 500 protection.
That's a fair point.
Oh,
yeah.
I say that because there is a motorway service station registered as a town. Got to fit one of Mozzie's old ones.
So what MEF is proposing is rewriting Rule 3 to say TC hidden rail lines must not be built in the middle of nowhere. Must not be built to the middle of nowhere for no reason. Is that
If you are changing that, I'd suggest you then also go back and change the equivalent one in the standard rail rules.
Yeah, probably. Let's look at that quickly. It's probably just a again, from that back then, no one was building. If towns was the focus, but now people are starting to build other fun things.
Because you've got rail line rule 2 is identical. It's railways must be built with the intention of providing services to existing towns.
We could amend that as well.
I would agree. Let's amend that one as well.
Okay, so what are we saying here? So approved in full, with amendments. Approved with amendments. Rule 3 reworded to TC hidden rail lines must not be built in the middle of nowhere for no reason.
And then the hidden rail rule 4 would need to be changed. So rather than mentioning whereas at the moment it says any TC hidden rail lines that travel between multiple towns, that should be multiple settlements.
I have another thing to bring up about this.
Okay.
So we generally are saying that with planes and boats and things, we want the hidden rails to be as low as reasonably possible. However, buses, we want those to be as close to the road surface as possible.
Correct. Yes.
So
there is an issue with that, and that is sometimes roads will go over bridges, and those bridges may not have any. They might not have space for rails underneath them.
then just go under the sea level. That's reasonable, right?
Yeah.
I guess.
But changing the Y level without actually changing the bus's Y level is really annoying, actually.
I see.
It's pretty finicky.
Well,
So that's why all the buses that I've installed for local towns like Nobopolis and Blackfriars, they're like they're not at the bottom so that we can go down, but they're at like or they're 80 blocks beneath the actual bus, for example. So that does put it underneath y equals 0 in most cases. But there's enough wiggle room to go up and down without realistically running into anything.
Yeah, I will note in Ellerton where the hidden rail is slightly below. I think it's 2 blocks below.
Yeah.
Like there was a bridge I've had to block off because it's too. But if you TP it to me at the moment, this bridge supports a TC bus line, and it's slightly thicker than a normal road, but not by much.
Yes, that is a great solution if you are the one building the road. However, the idea is that we'd have bus lines that go intercity, so they might use A roads that are pre-existing or go through someone else's town.
So if they're going through someone else's town, you'd need permission from the town anyway. And
yeah, but they might not want to
roads-
rebuild anything visible.
In which case,
it might be really dense and hard to make any changes.
Yeah, so it's not an explicit rule that it has to be close to the surface. That's why we put it in policies and procedures.
I understand
and it says
that.
it should be built as close to the surface as feasible. So actually, if because of the complexities of the line, it's most feasible that actually it's 60 blocks below, then fair enough.
There is another reason why I'm thinking about wanting to get rid of that suggestion entirely, and that's because if you're building a network of buses, you don't necessarily know what other companies will want to use your tracks, what future lines you might want to build in the future, and so building it 2 blocks under, for example, is very convenient in many cases, but could also cause some significant problems down the line when you want to extend your line onto a place where you would need to go much lower. So I'm tempted to just say, okay, you could build it really wherever you want with no suggestion as to where, so that people don't shoot themselves in the foot, so to speak, by either going really, really deep or by going super shallow.
So
Kind of
would
leave it
it
up to
work
them.
by just sort of removing the special case for road-based transport and just say train cart line or hidden rail line should be built as low as reasonably practical, and that's just the case for everything? Because actually it's just that for road-based transport, as low as practical is higher because you're wanting to more easily match the gradients of the road itself.
I would actually suggest keeping the exception, but leaving the case of buses just completely up to whoever is doing it with no suggestions as to Y level at all. Because going too deep might be an issue too.
Yeah, I'm a bit uneasy about just having no rules in there and just saying it's up to you, because then people could have it 30 blocks below where it's going to be intersecting with traditional rail systems and roads.
Okay. I mean, I could suggest just 80 blocks below. It seems to work pretty well for everything I've been doing, but I don't know. We can see, because that's also something we can easily amend later.
So what are we suggesting amending now in the rules, or are we not amending anything?
It looks like we're going to keep it. My suggestion had been to remove the height suggestion for buses, but I'm okay with just proceeding with it as is.
Well, sorry. Going on, I'm reading what it's on the policies and procedures. What's proposed. the sentence that says TC hidden rail lines need to change their Y level should be, on the other hand, built as close to the surface as feasible to ensure the height changes are visually smooth. Is that line, it's not based on how I'm, correct me if I'm wrong, but based on how I'm determining discussion, should that line be removed?
Yeah, I think that's best to be removed, and we just say
okay,
train cut hidden rails should be built as low as feasible.
Yeah.
And it just so happens for those road connections, feasible is quite a bit higher.
okay.
My worry is people will not realize that and just put something as low as it can be, and then when the road dips below, say,
but then
into a tunnel, they'll.
So this is another advantage of having a proposal, because if someone
That's
were
a good
to
point.
propose a road, one of the staff members could say, "Hey, have you considered building it 60 blocks below or whatever?" Because
Exactly.
that way it means that other companies could use this.
Yep, I like it. Sounds good.
Okay, I think I feel like we may have finally found a consensus with this. I know it's a lot of rules, and I think some staff are dipping out because the meeting is going. We've spent a lot of time on this topic for the meeting. Is there anything else you guys want to tackle before we move on here?
Sorry, just one slight change to policy number 2. We now just shouldn't reference the single Y plane, so it should be TC hidden rail.
So you
built as low as feasible.
So you cut off there, Simon. Can you repeat that?
So it should now just be train cart hidden rail lines should be built as low as feasible.
Should be built as low.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've put the amendments in the minutes.
I'm just editing the agenda right as we're doing this.
I think it's valuable to keep the what the original proposal is and what the amendments are.
I feel like I might miss it, but whatever. It doesn't matter. Like I'll get it. So I'm just making sure that whatever we take from here is going to go on the website. So I want to make sure the wording isn't. I'm not missing anything in the wording. Okay. Anything else? I know some people are bored here, but it does apply to some people who are interested in building these lines. So
yeah.
Okay, are we good? We're moving on. We're happy with with this.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Simon, your rules are approved, and we'll start hopefully expecting some proposals of this nature soon.
Thanks, everyone.
All right.
It wouldn't be a proposal on
Simon.
3.
Okay. Next one. Okay, I promise this one will be is not as controversial. So this is just an amendment to the policies and procedures page. We're on 5B, by the way, for the IATs. It currently states that players must contact the owner, but the page doesn't explicitly say how the player should contact the owner or which methods to use. So I'm proposing to amend it and basically list out all those methods, which is you should attempt to all the following methods of contact in this order where possible. 1, direct message on Discord. 2, email the user via the MRT wiki if they have a wiki account. And 3, in-game message via the mail command. And additionally, you do not need to contact the owner if the player is indefinitely or permanently banned from the server. I hope that's not controversial. This is simply just clarifying how and what to use for contact.
That sounds good.
It looks good. I think maybe the implication of you have to try all of them in that order. As opposed to messaging somebody on Discord if you know that you have their account. It's highly unlikely that they're going, if they've not seen the Discord, for them to see the mail.
So from the discussion, the reasoning for this is in case, and I've seen this before, where some people have Discord but they don't read their messages. Actually, I think Unjins came back recently, and apparently he did read, but It's not like he did read the messages, but he didn't respond to them. So we don't know whether he read, like from our perspective, we don't know whether he read them or not. So I can also see a situation where some people might be more active on Minecraft, but not on Discord, even though they may have an account. So this is why I'm saying try to contact them through as many means as possible, not just one, just so they know. And in case they do come back from Minecraft and that is the mail message is the first thing they see, then at least they'll know that an IAT happened or their asset is gone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess to clarify, yeah, before I think it was sort of accepted that you only need to use one method. In this clarification, we are expecting you should try all three, though in most cases, some people don't have Discord, some people don't have a wiki account. So in a lot of cases, mail will be the only thing that they would be able to do.
I think that we shouldn't worry about what order is used unless they don't get a response and are trying to proceed.
I could just get rid of the word in this order. You just say do it all. If that helps.
Yeah.
Because if you know somebody is going to respond to the third thing on the list and you do it first and they respond, then you're good.
I think I only said order because I feel like Discord would give you the first response anyway. So I don't know. I think that's the reason why I put it like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, see the rationale. Because the other thing is, as far as the timers go, like the 7-day timer, whether we take it from the first or last contact if they're substantially different. From the first or last attempted method. A little bit of clarification. I'm waiting for that timer to expire for somebody I've messaged on Discord. If this goes through, obviously I'll be sending the mail and sending the email through the wiki. Would that effectively reset?
I think for simplicity reasons, as soon as you complete all three and you have not received a response for any of those things, then the 7-day, once you have shown that you've completed all three, the 7-day timer starts. I think that's reasonable.
I don't think you need to show that you completed them at the time. I think you need to, I don't think it should be based on when you show staff that you did it. It should be based on when you did it.
That's
you need proof.
That's what I mean.
Oh, okay.
The problem, it's assumed that by the time you do the last thing, the third thing, whatever it is, then you will also show it. There could be a day, but also in terms of oh, I see what you mean, MBF. I usually just read because when I'm looking at the proposal, I'm usually reading the Discord message when they sent it.
Yeah,
but
mail doesn't have those receipts.
If they post a screenshot that show, but we don't have the time of when they did the mail, though.
Yeah, that's not worth looking into logs for.
So I think just when they send it in Discord is just easier. Honestly, it's just
okay.
Yeah,
I would suggest just trusting them honestly, unless we have reason to suspect that they are not trustworthy. Because that could just get annoying. Because many people won't message unless those days have passed. Because otherwise, we'd be deferring every single proposal.
I don't know. The one thing I worry about is most people will do these things, but I worry that somebody will just forget and it'll slip past us, and then basically we've approved an IAT without them actually attempting contact, which is not great.
Bad.
That's bad.
Should we? I'd be open to amending it to. Must either Discord or wiki mail and in-game mail. So hang on, I will diagram that out. My concern is for inactive players, them not wishing to be spammed. Like, you can turn the Discord messages off. Email in particular, though, like, the email in particular, that reeks of GDPR concerns.
Oh yeah, that's a
Like,
good point.
why do I still have this email for a server why does the server I played on 2 months ago, 4 months ago, and I've never been to since, have my email address?
Because they
Well,
signed up for the wiki, so I feel like that's like an extra step from them.
Yeah, but if they want to just leave and not care, they will still be getting notifications from people emailing them.
I guess, but I don't know, is there a way on the wiki to insert like some automated text or something that just says like, if you're not interested, unsubscribe here or something like that, or send us an email. I don't really know how that kind of thing works, to be honest.
It really should be a button.
I'm not sure either. Someone have to look at the wiki user wiki settings to see if that's possible.
So if you just put a link saying, "I'll just reply email admins to if you no longer wish to receive correspondence from us" or something like that, maybe.
Light says, as our wiki expert here, in the preference page, you can disable the option to allow people to email you. So there's your answer.
Yeah,
should probably put a link to that automatically if we can.
Yeah,
just so that people don't see the spam and go, "Oh my god, I don't want to deal with turning this off."
Yeah, the other thing I'd like to say is maybe in the wording, say, must show you've attempted these contacts of contact, or explained why it is not possible, or explain why it's not been possible.
Which I think people have been doing anyway in the IETs. Like they say they have no Discord account. They say they attempted wiki, but that maybe doesn't allow them for some, or they have no wiki account. So I mean, it's not different from what people have been doing so far. Like,
ideally, what would be nice is if we had a way for people who are receiving these emails and just have no intention of ever coming back to the MRT, a way they can just press a button and be like, "Yep, don't bother contacting me again. I will never respond."
I guess if
so they don't get any more emails, you don't have to bother mailing them, or even contact them at all.
We could just put a link that says, "Oh, like click here to visit your user preference page to, like I say, just do email correspondence or something."
I think that's all.
Have to look into that.
Those are all media. Those are all wiki. That's from the wiki software. I'm pretty sure they have something in the. If they received a message, they'll probably say at the bottom something like unsubscribe or something like that. So
yeah.
I just wish there were a way we could tell if they unsubscribe, so we don't constantly wait a week every time that we try to email them.
Does it actually tell you? It might tell you that you can't email them. I don't know. We'll have to try that out maybe.
These are all,
But if somebody is intentionally opting out of being contacted for IITs, should we take that as a signal that we shouldn't bother trying to contact them at all for any future IITs?
Because I think someone might turn it off by mistake, or they might become active later and forget they have it turned off, I suppose. So
let me interject here. Is it really that bad if we have people what's the big drawback of just keep letting people still attempt contact? The only thing is that they're just wasting a week, right? Like, I don't think it's a big deal that if someone does not want to be contacted and will not respond, well, that's their choice. We have no control over that. So there are some exceptions. Like there's some players out there who've explicitly told staff or community they're gone. They don't want to come back at all. I don't know. Maybe in those situations we could say like that person's gone, but we don't have a stipulation for that. I don't know if we want to introduce. Yeah, I don't know if we want to suggest that at all. Ster, you have a suggestion? Just feel free to just say it out loud in the meeting channel. Yeah, so I agree with Sesh there. A week is not a lot. It's just, yeah.
Yeah.
Sarah says, if an AIT contact doesn't go through, is it already a rule that all the users' tabs and access can automatically get transferred? What do you mean by that exactly? If I'm interpreting what you're saying, I think the answer is no, because it's done per request. So every person who does a request for a specific, in this case, like maybe an emoji asset or someone else's asset, they still have to contact themselves. There's no, correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm interpreting this incorrectly, but it sounds like you're saying if one person contacted Moj or some inactive player, then all the other ones don't have to because that person didn't, right? That's not allowed based on how the IAT procedure is set up. Because also these requests could also have to happen at the same different times. Maybe someone requests for the inactive player stuff a year ago, but then they contact now. During those two time frames, the player might get a different response. The second player might actually get a response or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so separate contexts. Yeah. Okay. That's a fair question, sir. I think that's good to clarify. I don't think there should be a rule around that. I think per request is the cleanest way to doing it because of different circumstances. Yeah.
I'm just looking at this from the perspective of not bothering people who don't want to be bothered.
I think in those situations, if someone doesn't want to be bothered, they would tell the person or staff, and then we could figure out some sort of solution, I would say.
The right to be forgotten.
Yeah.
The other kind of, this is hopefully not going to be a concern, but if somebody is uncontactable because they are no longer among the living, like in that case, as morbid as it sounds, like it's maybe a bit like grave robbing, but
how would we know in a lot of situations? A lot of times we wouldn't even know that they are passed, right?
There are ways we could, like if that person happens to know another member in real life.
Yeah.
Or there's some verified message, like say from a family member that, hey, this person is no longer here.
Or news article or whatever.
Okay, so there's a lot of so stereo on your first thing. We're saying that no, we're not going to change the rules around IATs. We're going to say it's per request because the request could be at different times. We're not going to have a timer or anything. I think that's too hard to keep track of. So it's just going to be every requester has to make that attempt to contact. Regarding past people or people who are no longer living, I think we'd have to deal with that as that happens. We haven't dealt with that before.
No.
I think the reason.
I think it sort of kind of maybe happened, but in that time we knew that they might be dead.
Sorry, what do you mean, Foot?
There was like one, I think Zombie 5, there was like, they said they might die or be dead soon, but
that's what
even there was
I don't remember their name, but yeah, there was one person who had cancer, but I think they did survive, so I don't think that applies here.
And this would only apply if we know for sure that they are not coming back.
Yeah, we have IRL confirmation of at least some manner, right? So I would say if it does happen, I think we would have to. I think we would just deal with that at that point. I think the respectful thing to do would probably maybe exempt them from IATs. But I think we would make that decision at that time when it happens. So
in memoriam.
Yeah.
I would suggest maybe like picking if they have a lot of stuff, maybe picking like a few representational things to be used for in memoriam, and other things pass on to people who are who knew them well.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Going back to this thing, I think we've spent too much. Is this okay? I'm gonna amend the policies and procedures page of this.
Yeah, I was just saying, I put a screenshot in the meeting live. There is an automated message for the wiki emails just for future reference. We can probably change that. But anyway.
Hold
Other
on.
than that, yeah, I'm fine with it. So.
All right.
Okay, approved. Okay, the next community. Well, this week it's still got some other things that are actually important, but we need to tackle 5. Oh, Bobby, what's your question? Sorry. I don't know if I understand this correctly, but say someone left the server and have no intention of coming back, you wouldn't need to contact them? No, you would still need to contact them. Based because the rules or the policies that we have right now have no stipulations for cases where someone has explicitly stated they're not coming back, they don't want to be contacted. You still do need to attempt contact. I think out of respect, I think it's fair anyway, because again, people's minds could change, or circumstances could change. If that player actually goes to staff and says, please, can you stop people from contacting me, then we'll deal with that on that instance. But so far, we have not run into that situation. It's possible, maybe in the future, but we haven't run into that yet. Okay, cool. All right, next one. Oh, I think this one actually might be quite controversial because we haven't really figured it out. We need holiday ranks for the end of the year. And looking through the thread, I have to be honest, I've not really seen one that sticks out. That seems like a winner.
I liked the degrees of cold.
I did see that one, yeah. But no one's formed a full list, right, of that.
All right, let's do one right now.
Or
okay. I can do that while you talk.
Hang on, let's I'll make another column for this.
Sorry, we're moving on to the next topic, but to answer your question, we'll deal with that when that happens. Whether they need to be banned or they need to, that sort of thing. Okay, so the holiday ranks. So cold things. Are there any other ideas?
I mean, I've said this for the last few years now. Christmas singers is with Mariah Carey not at the top.
Yes, please.
You mentioned Whale.
I think we need actual lists to. This is the thing that we don't have a full list to look at the moment of anything, so it's hard to really vote on anything here.
Yeah. Well, there's the spreadsheet. Yep. There's a spreadsheet that we have.
But yeah, that's mostly past ideas. I'm more talking about like new ideas, right? So.
I've had an idea carried over from the previous year about the animals. I think like we could also do the spinning wheel thing if we cannot come to a consensus.
We could. So here's the reason. So the reason why we want to decide the ranks now is because the ranks are supposed to come into effect December 1st. The next GSM is a week after that. So yeah.
Yeah, I will link the spreadsheet for the sake of.
Maybe we should compile a list of the current candidates, and then can like clearly see what is up for vote. Or
unfortunately, it sounds like that topic's been there for a month, but I don't think because there's no full lists, I don't think we can make a decision here at this meeting. That's my feeling.
I mean, the lists we have on the right hand side.
Yeah, those are. Yeah, but those are just there. Like those are not. I don't know. I wasn't. I guess what I'm saying is I wasn't expecting to consider those, like actually, unless people actually want those, but. And like based on the discussion so far in the thread, I've not seen any approval for Christmas singers, to be fair.
That's fair.
Yeah, degrees of
I just posted
cold. Okay, oh yeah. That's gonna be a long.
Long what?
The names are they are going to be quite long. They will. It is rivaling Partridge on a Pear Tree that I had one year.
Pig in a Blanket was pretty long.
That too, yeah. Okay, so Alpha's posted animals. Oh, reposted from last year. Okay.
Mod has to be penguin, of course.
Did you have to paste them in the wrong order?
The wrong order? What do you mean?
Really?
It's
Oh,
owner
right.
It's owner to guest.
Rather than guest to owner, which is what the spreadsheet is.
Oh, then
Oh,
maybe my bad.
Pedantry. Anyway,
I like alphas actually. That's a pretty good one. I'm gonna put
it's pretty clear. Okay, how about this? For the people that are listening in on the meeting right now, go to the thread for the it's in community issues for the holiday ranks 2025. Put your thumbs up on the one you want. Right now, there's MBF's Degrees of Cold and Alpha's Animals. Put your
How many
reactions
should we
now.
put thumbs up on?
Yeah, put the one that you want
Just
there.
the one you want.
Yeah.
Wait, where?
On the thread. Should I link it here?
The thread. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it here. Thanks.
Yeah. Oh, Sasha's got it.
I think it's very clearly going to be animals. We have 8 thumbs up
Like
already.
if you just lost one for a second there.
Yeah, that was me. I removed mine because I realized that the animals is better than my own.
Oh, okay. Are there any other ideas that people want to post now? We're kind of doing this on the fly here, but if it looks like animals, then we're going to go animals. Oh, wait. Some votes have shifted for some reason.
What is this, TKO?
I'm going to not put the Christmas singers in.
Jinty, what's your amendment to alphas? Seal for senator.
Oh, is it based on size? I think it's also based on size. Because it sort of gets smaller animals as we go down.
Yeah, seal is technically more of an Arctic, at winter, well, animal.
Reindeer.
Or yeah, reindeer might be better.
Then elk.
What's the difference between a
They're just
reindeer and a deer?
One of them is more obviously a holiday.
No, I mean in biological. I'll just look it up.
I have no idea. One
Yeah,
of them can
I would
fly.
probably
I don't
swap
know.
out elk for reindeer then.
They're
Alpha,
Deer,
subspecies of deer.
reindeer.
Alpha,
I don't think we should have deer and reindeer.
Oh, Alpha's typing, but Alpha, it is your list, so it's up to you whether you want to accept that amendment.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't come up with reindeer for one of them, but I'm totally open to any suggestions. I think replacing elk with reindeer is a good idea. I'm also fine with changing the seal too if people are okay with it.
So governor will be reindeer, senator will be seal. Okay. Okay, it sounds like this is the one people are coalescing around. So, yeah.
DNA master react with a star.
Why am I a polar bear? I guess I could be a polar bear. Sure, all right.
How many of these are Minecraft animals? Polar bear, wolf,
I mean, a Canadian
fox,
is a winter animal.
I guess hare.
Let's do that.
That is technically true.
That makes no sense.
Well,
No, it's
right.
fine.
Canadian.
I can be polar bear. I can eat all of most of. Actually, I can eat all of these.
I mean, polar bears will eat anything they can get their hands on, right?
Okay, it sounds like animals is what we're doing. We haven't done animals
Yay.
before, right? Yeah, we did food and characters and reindeer. Okay, yeah. Let's do animals. Okay, unless so unless there are any objections, we're gonna go with animals. It'll be live on December 1st. It'll last the whole month. And it'll confuse all the guests, but who cares?
You mean confuse all the doves?
Yes. Well, yes. Okay, let's go with it. Approved. Okay, so there's some other topics to go through, but these are mainly just leftover proposals that we need to look through. So let's go to 6A. This is deferred from last meeting. If you recall, PTLD was proposing I guess it was an IAT of some sort. Or no, not an IAT, a Central City plot. Well, this isn't technically an IAT because that wasn't your plot. A redevelopment of Central City Plot 15, which was, the plot is owned by Avanish. We decided that to give Avanish and Bobby a chance to provide a proposal of their own before this November GSM deadline, they did so. So there is a link to both PTLD. There's PTLD's proposal for what he wants to build, and there's also a link to Avanish and Bobby's proposal. So make sure all staff. I think I had to tell one staff member to, because I think they didn't see this one, but make sure you read both of them to evaluate both of them before making your decision here. I will read out some absentee ballots here. DNA, I'll read out Moraine's. So Moraine is stating that she would like to abstain from this. Is the main concern I had with the terminal already was part of the existing bus line, but it seems that PTLD took care of that by maintaining access in it in the design of the building. My secondary concern was Avnish's pushback. Avnish has responded with a plan of what they plan to do the plot, but it's currently somewhat plain and basic. Another point of consideration is the plot 15 is right next to Spawn, and the building in its current state is a single-story short boxy building that only has one window, which is southern side, with other sides being flat concrete walls. The roof is also mostly featureless. PTLD's redevelopment plan replaced this with something that is much more aesthetically pleasing, while also keeping previous functionality as to break in another, not to break in another bus network. Based on all this, I can't reasonably make a decision. PTLD's redevelopment plan is all very thorough and nice. The plot is on very valuable land, but Avnish and Bobby do own it, and Bobby is active, so I don't feel terribly keen to give the plot to PTLD just because PTLD has a better plan for it. I feel very torn between the two options, thus I am abstaining. HVT has said I am more in favor of PTLD's plan as it's a complete building already. 7D has also voted neutral on this. DNA, I don't know if you want to say your, because you did submit an absentee ballot for that one too.
I don't have time to. I ran out
Did you
of time.
see Bobby's
you ran it.
message in /GSM?
Yeah, that's the only one I didn't type.
What is Bobby's note? Sorry. Clarify. It's mainly just Avanish. I'm just going to help him build to make the building go fast. Okay.
Yeah, I think in this case, like, PTLD does have a much better plan here, and it does seem like the plan that's been put together from Avanish and Bobby's side has been a very skeleton plan, kind of put forward to meet the deadline rather than as a solid construction. So
Well-
I'm in favor of passing the plot over to PTLD.
How much time have Bobby and Avanish been on the server lately? Because
not much.
yes, they are busy.
Yeah.
My question is, how busy?
Based on what Bobby has said, Avanish is busy with college applications. So I don't know about Bobby, but Avanish has definitely not been on the server at all. So
the Bobby has been involved in the planning.
Yeah.
And my question is, since Bobby has been on a lot more, why is the plan still at a very I don't know, undeveloped point?
Because based on Bobby's clarification, it sounds like this is mainly Avanish's plan. So this is Avanish's design. Bobby, it sounds like, is just helping with building. So, yeah, again, not my plan. The thing is with this is technically not an IAT anymore. It is. No. We are effectively taking away ownership of someone's plot and giving it to someone else in Central City. I don't know if there's much of a precedent for this. Can't remember the.
Here's a different question. Are there any other plots in Central City right now that either aren't being used that the building could go in instead?
Sorry, can you repeat that, Foot? You're speaking too fast.
Is there anywhere else in Central City that PTLD's plot could go?
Let's ask PTLD. At PTLD, are there any alternate plots where this could go instead? Have you considered any?
If every single plot is full, then that's like a whole other can of worms.
Now. How have we not asked that before?
There were no empty plots, as I'm aware. But, well, aside from the ones that we have reserved, kind of, for example, where the old flag park was, there are lots of other very inactive plots.
Yeah.
The part of why I'm in favour of PTLD's proposal as it stands is because it's filling in what is otherwise a very empty, not a very dense part of the city that is right next to Central Park.
Mm-hmm. PTLC says, I've not looked for alternate plots and focus on this plot. There are no free plots, however, therefore I have to go through the whole process again. I've been in conversations with Avanish since August. I think the thing is, a lot of those other plots could be viably IAT'd, I think. I think that's why we're at least exploring that, or at least that's why that topic is being explored.
I am worried about introducing this precedent
mm-hmm.
because, yes, I definitely agree that a PTLD has a much more solid plan,
mm-hmm.
but are we really going to open the door to people replacing Central City builds just because mine is better?
Yeah, I'm also I am also a proponent for revitalizing Central City, and PTLD's plan looks like it could be something that could help with that. It's, I think, one of the, one could argue that one of the reasons why Central City hasn't seen development is people are holding on. Some people are holding on to such plots and not doing much with them, at least the active players anyway. So, but at the same time, this does set a precedent. I'm trying to compare it to what we did for Fred's. I'm just trying to look back, because Fred's Central City Terminal did involve moving quite a few buildings, but I think in that case, if I recall correctly, most of them were just inactive players, and I think one of them was banned, so that didn't matter. So in that case, that was just strictly an IIT, but this is not strictly an IIT. This is not an IIT, basically. So
this is us planning out. This is effectively us planning out the Central City. Mm-hmm. And what are, the premier plots around Central Park.
Mm-hmm.
We've, like Sasha said, Futter said, Central City should be open to the now, not 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
This bus station has been the same substantially for at least 5 years now.
Mm-hmm.
It's as much as there is very little cultural value in it staying, and the plan which Avanish has is a skeleton.
Mhm.
It's a skeleton. Like I'm sorry, it's not that well thought out, and for a player who is very inactive, admittedly through a temporary circumstance, but there is no there is no indications from where I'm stood that the plan Avanish and Bobby have is actually going to go ahead.
It's
Kind of
not an
assessing it as it
IAT
stands
though.
right now.
IAT though. This in this situation. So whatever we decide here sets the precedent.
Anyway, is anyone else adding things?
Okay. So if we are, I'll preface this. If Peter Lee, if you want to go off on AP's point, I'll just say something as well. If we are okay with setting a precedent that staff can transfer away plots, essential city plots that don't seem to be developed, it's. I'm not sure if it's necessarily a better plan, but more that someone's doing something with it, right? Then by that we could approve this transfer to PTLD.
Basically, we don't want to see those plots get neglected.
Correct.
Yeah.
Or just sit there.
And while yes, there is a plan,
yeah.
It is really the bare minimum.
Foot says, we already have the 14-day rule for town claims. What's the difference here if someone claims a plot does nothing? That's not the situation here, though, because there is an existing building there. It's just, so the 14-day rule doesn't apply because it's not empty. There is something there.
I mean, I know, but it's also just, it's been months already. And
that's a whole different situation. That's a very Central City specific thing too. Like it's not just this plot. There's a lot of other inactive plots that just haven't seen much development.
Yeah.
So if we do want to go on the topic of Central City plots, I feel like that would just go to, we need a single consolidated bus station, but that's a whole different problem.
Which
I mean, I would be up for doing quite a big demolition of.
That's a whole different topic. Yeah. I don't like the console. I think I've commented on the other thread. I'm not in favor of a consolidated bus station, but that's a whole other thing. But PTLD, I'm not sure if you're still typing, but does sound like we're leaning toward. Oh, you're actually good. Okay. Again, so I'm saying, are we okay with this precedent that we're setting here? Because it will affect future decisions, I would say. It is, we're basically the judges at the Supreme Court. So
it affects it. What the precedent we're setting here is that for the sake of planning Central City out, we can decide to replace buildings, albeit by hostile takeover. Ultimately, it's a city by and for the community. It's a city by and for the community. It's not 150 little towns that happen to be within a within a grid. So there should be some element of cohesive planning there.
Yeah. By
granting approval to PTLD's tower, now the precedent we're setting is effectively that of we can replace what's there, regardless of the owner of the plot's intent. I can't see this being a very common thing.
I guess adding on to that, though, we still want to also keep in mind we want to try to respect the builds that are there, for the most
Yes.
part. But if it's something that's not being touched for a long time, we're not basing on a better build necessarily. We're just basing it on something that's just been stale. I think stale is the best word to describe it.
Yeah. Neglected, stale.
Yeah.
I think I agree with AP there. It's kind of another can of worms, but I think like if we approve this, we're setting like a precedence that we're open to changing things, and I think we could maybe like make it a little bit more explicit that perhaps instead of ownership, the plots are more so like a lease, and then if when we're approving plots, we're like granting a lease to the builder. But yeah, that might be like a separate community issue.
That would also probably have to be codified in the rules,
I
which
do like that idea.
I'm not sure about the idea. It could work, but it could be a can of worms because what the worst case scenario I can think of is if we decide to just willy-nilly destroy people's builds off CC, some people may not take that lightly regardless of whether it's a lease or not. So we do want to avoid that sort of situation, I think.
Yeah, I can't imagine this being a very common thing though. Like
is our intention to not make it a common thing? Let's ask that. Like this is going to be a rare. How common or how rare is this going to be?
I think it should only be like if there's both a genuine reason. If the new potential owner has like a genuine plan and there's like a genuine reason that should be in Central City.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
Not just I want this here, I want the Central City, but like this has to be in Central City. It wouldn't make sense anywhere else.
Or if the building is obviously been abandoned and is obviously far from complete. To use an example, this one here is effectively a big glass box with nothing in it.
Yeah. I'm not saying we're not bulldozing the build Frozen, but still, I think people might still be pissed off if their building is removed. So
Yeah. I think this is going to be a very rare thing of someone's building to be removed in entirety without very, very good reason.
And maybe we just keep it in the lab or staff world.
Yeah, I mean, with the world downloads as well, that can be our archival snapshots.
To take on Violet's point, we're not setting a specific time frame for each build. I think we'll just do it by case basis. Because again, a lot of these builds have been there for months, years. It could vary, right? So, and actually, in some cases, we would not even know when we can't date them because they're actually so old that they're beyond the plot clock. So they could be like 5 years or along that sort of line. Okay, it's starting to sound like I'm not seeing. It's starting to sound like we are going to prove this, knowing the implications of it. Okay. Yes.
Is anyone strongly against it?
At least no one here. I assume Evany should be strongly against it, but they're not here.
I think like unless there's like a clear reason why Ebony's plot should be there, I don't really see like why we shouldn't transfer it over, like except for setting the precedent.
Okay.
I might put a proposal. I think I'm going to put a proposal in for next time, for next GSM, for demolishing obviously incomplete builds. These are the ones that have not been touched in years, where it is a few blocks on the plot.
In Central City specifically, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that better than just leaving them as is?
In some cases, yes.
Okay.
Like, if someone goes, oh, there's a building on this, I can see somebody saying, I want to build in Central City, but there is a building that has been started to be built on this plot, so therefore I can't do anything with it. I would rather them go, oh, this is an empty plot, I have an idea for this. Again, I can see maybe 3 plots in total that would apply to. And we can probably assess them next time.
Maybe as part of this, maybe we could mark some of these builds as marked for demolition or takeover, and then that'd be
foreclosure.
Foreclosure, and that'll make the procedure a lot easier. Than other people can say, that's available. I could think of something to build on.
I like that.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah.
Also, you can warn people. Hey, this is going to be foreclosed.
Yep. We give early warning for this. But going back to Violet has made would it be wise for us to wait for that topic, those formalized things to be made first before we make this decision here? Or can we just go with it here? Keep in mind, if we don't, and PTLDs has seemed pretty impatient and been waiting for months on this, but I don't know if we should be even taking that into account here.
I think we're setting the precedent. We're setting the precedent now. I think we can get the paperwork, as it were, the more formal arguments down, late between now and the December GSM.
Okay.
I think we've come to an agreement on what needs to happen. It's the exact details and the exact process that's going to have to be formalized, and in some ways having a light version of the process, doing a light version of the process now might help us with determining later what's good, what's bad, what to do.
It will at least accelerate the future builds, this process. We don't have to go back and forth.
GSM terms expired.
Yeah, hold on. Jesus. Another 2 hours. There you go. It's like me putting coins in the parking meter.
Yes.
But yeah, let's go with this. So AP, are you going to head off that? Are you going to make like a community issue topic, I guess? And
I'll do that I'll do that either tonight or some point over the coming weekend.
Cool. Awesome. All right, cool. All right, so based on this then, it is liking we're going to approve this specific transfer of Central City Plot 15 to PTLD, and that, in effect, we are approving PTLD's plan for that plot. Yeah, I think also, again, since the goal is to try to redevelop CC, this will help in that. Like, we need to at least, if we can at least mark some plots as to be demolished, that'll accelerate things and hopefully get people to start building some more interesting things. Condemned. I think we need to find a term, the term for that.
Marked for repossession?
Something like that, yeah. Okay.
Foreclosure seems like the best term.
Okay.
Foreclosure.
So final other topic, and also this one does set a precedent too. So let's think about this carefully. Frog, our friend Frog, actually asked me about a situation where, so they were the DM of Werribee, and Werribee is the mayor. Moj is the mayor, and before Moj left the server, I think like maybe only a couple weeks before, or 1 week, they made an agreement between the both of them that Frog would pay $2,500 of in-game money to Moj for the transfer that town from Moj to Frog, even though Frog was already the deputy mayor. Now, so there's evidence of this. It actually occurred in public chat, so you can look at all that. And then Moj was given an L3 warning on May 5th, and then left the server. There's circumstances around that. We're not going to go into that, but he is not on the server anymore. Frog came to me and asked is it possible for him, given the circumstances, for him to get a refund on that $2,500, since in normal circumstance he at the time he would not have known that Moj was leaving, but like post all of that, he would have gotten where it'd be anyway. He could have done a DM succession to get it and paid nothing, but instead he is down $2,500. So Moraine's absentee ballot says for, I'm not sure if I want to read all. Moraine wrote a lot up on this one.
Oh no.
Let me just go through it. HVT is in favor of a refund. 70 is in favor of a refund. If you want me to read Moraine's thing, I will. But if you guys want to comment on this now, go right ahead.
I am against. I mean, I don't think there's anything like. I really think it's just tough luck.
That's a fair argument. I've seen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Frog. Frog made a choice to make that payment, and sometimes we just don't get to know what the future holds. Sometimes things don't end up working out. Like you might, I don't know. You might buy a car and then find out, oh hey, this car is actually like, I don't know. That's a bad example, but yeah, that can happen. Like you buy something and find out, oh wait, I didn't need this, or oh wait, this is useless now. That's not grounds for returning it and getting your money back.
Generally, in that case, or with a car, like there are guarantees there, or there's a, you buy the car and it turns out the engine's missing. Like consumer protection laws, pretty much on the case of consumer laws pretty much on the side of you bought a faulty good.
It's not quite that though, because Frog did get exactly what Frog paid for and exactly what Frog was expecting.
No.
It's like going to the store, buying something, and then the next day you see somebody else giving it out for free.
It's not quite that though, MBF, because in this case, given Moj, in the event Moj, because giving someone deputy mayor comes with the expectation that if in the event Moj disappears or whatever, Frog would get ownership of that town without needing to pay anything. So to be honest, I'm not entirely sure why they even agreed to this money transaction, because it seems a little weird. Like,
in fact, I would say that's even more of a reason not to approve this, because Frog did have some indication that there was a possibility that they would get it for free, and yet still chose to buy it.
Yeah, I personally agree with MBF. Like, I think like at the time of purchase, Frog should have. Well, Frog knew he was the DM, so he should have considered that as a risk to take. Like aside from being like the only reason why I would support a refund is out of courtesy, but personally, I'm not a big fan of the precedents that this was set.
Also, say Moj does return. Are we suddenly going to be like, oh, sorry, yeah, that deal you made, nope, it's invalid?
Actually, well, it wouldn't affect Moj specifically, because the 2,500, we as admins would just produce that for Frog. Moj's balance would not change.
I like that even less.
Well, okay.
Well, if we're concerned about the in-game economy,
okay, sorry.
It's already.
I guess. Okay, rethinking that. Yeah, no, I think we would take it from Moj. I guess, right? So it'd be undoing the transaction.
Yeah.
So.
Because I think personally, I'm in favour of the refund because I sort of like obviously understand the whole the consumer rights laws, things like that. I do sort of think like it makes Frog happy. I don't really think anyone's disadvantaged by us doing the refund. Really, like it's not. We are just sort of a Minecraft server with a fake economy at the end of the day. I don't think it would have any damage to give the refunds to Frog. So,
Jinty, you wanted to speak here?
Yeah, I have to agree with NBF, like, and also kind of taking from Violet's point, like, it is just in-game currency. Like, we have to put things in perspective a little bit here. Like, this is MRT dollars. Like, I feel like this sets a precedent, like, almost like if you present a case well enough, you can just get a random amount or however much you'd like from staff on a whim.
I think I'm actually fine with that precedent. I think if you're able to present a case which is justifiable, I think we should just be giving refunds to people. I think it's very rare that we have this sort of situation occur.
Yeah.
And just I think the fact that it is just in-game money, which actually makes me think we probably should just give the refund because obviously no one's, as I said before, no one's really losing out. It makes Frog happy at the end of the day. So
I'll just add this little thing. Like if there was any evidence that showed that Moj, like in this, I guess not to accuse him of anything, but if there was any evidence that showed that he scammed Frog out of this money, if he knew that he was leaving, and then he willingly accepted that money, or that's what he set the price, and then he left. I think that'd be a stronger argument for a refund, but in this case, we don't know that. We don't know.
I actually disagree with you there.
Why?
I think that would be a stronger case for no refund.
Why? Why?
If Moj did that, it might be because he is intending to return and wants to return with the money at least.
No, I think you're not understanding what I'm saying. Like I'm saying, he intended to just take the money and run. But
why?
Some people, I know it doesn't make any sense, but it's like it is taking Frog. I don't know. Some people might be petty and just want to take someone's fake in-game money. I guess I don't know.
I feel like it would be more probable that it would be because they plan to return and would like to see that money when they do. That they did legitimately earn. I think. They did build a town and they did sell it, and it wasn't less than they were selling it for. It is exactly what. Yeah.
Yeah, we are arguing about fake in-game money. So in a lot of cases, it doesn't matter, except but it is sort of it's a little bit of a status symbol on the server, so it does matter a little bit.
And Frog also has $20,000 already. It's not like he's.
Let's not care about the exact balance they have. We're just talking about the 2,500. I think the balance.
What you just said is a status symbol, so
it is, but I don't think what their current balance is matters. I'm saying separate that out. Like, don't just focus on the money that was transferred. I would say.
We need to minimize community damage, and I worry by kind of focusing on monopoly money, we're going to be doing more damage to the community overall compared to, like, in my opinion, just give the money and just chalk it up to a goodwill gesture. It's not setting a precedent, but it's not.
I think that sets the precedent that if you threaten to stir up enough drama, then you can get paid to not do it.
This doesn't have.
I think that's fine if we set a precedent, really, because I'm saying I think if there is a legitimate case for a refund, I think the precedent should be that we will offer the refund under those circumstances. But I just don't really see it happening very often, to be honest.
I don't see it as stirring drama. I don't think that's an accurate presentation. I think from Frog's opinion, he feels like this doesn't seem fair that he had to pay $2,500. Again, this is his opinion, not everyone else's, that he had to pay $2,500 for a town that he could have gone anyway. Right? He could not predict the future. That is true. I'm wondering if people are at least considering that. But that is the perspective that he's presenting here. That's why he's asking for this refund.
I think like if the situation is like a little bit different, like for example, if Moj, like if Frog paid Moj and then Moj was banned before he could transfer, then I think there's like a much stronger argument in that case. But again, I'm not a fan of the precedents. I'll be okay to refund just for this particular case, but yeah.
Yeah. Also, I don't think. Sorry, Moj isn't banned.
Moj is not banned, so Moj could appear suddenly one day, anytime.
I don't think it's impossible. In fact, I think there is a possibility of that.
Yeah. And there could be damage if Moj finds out that we undid that transaction. I'm not sure. He might think it's okay. He might not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess, okay, so I don't know how we should proceed here, because it does sound like we're kind of split. The vibe I'm getting from at least non-staff, at least the opinions I've seen so far in chat, seem to be like people's generally in favor of refund. Correct me if I'm wrong, if anyone is against the refund in chat, please let us know now. I'm just based on that vibe. Within staff, it sounds like, MBF, Alpha, I don't know if anyone else here are against this, but a lot of the other staff members, and Jitty is, but all the other staff members are in favor of it. So I'm not sure how to proceed here. We could vote on it if it comes down to it.
Sounds like it's passing.
Sorry, what's that?
That is a majority in favor.
It is.
And yeah, I don't see this ending up being a controversial issue, being a bad thing.
Yeah, it is noteworthy. Yeah. That the problem is if we do it, it does set a precedent a little bit, like because people might just point out and point back to it. But if we want to just preface it and say this is an one-time exception, we never do it ever again. Maybe
then why are we doing it now?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Like that's.
What in the future? What about this makes it special over any future case that might arise?
I still just say we probably do the same in the future. Is what I'd say to that.
Yeah.
If something else happens that warrants a refund, we can still just give a refund when that happens.
I'll
I don't think that's necessarily bad precedent.
I'll follow what Simon just said. Like this, what happened here seems to be just a conflation of two different rare things that happened. It's a coincidence. Even I don't think the likelihood of this happening again is very high. Like I think it's very low. Like this is a really rare situation. So the precedent set is maybe negligible, perhaps. So
yeah, I do think this is on Frog for not guessing correctly, and also losing some MRT money really isn't that big a deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like anyone's getting banned.
Mm-hmm.
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the potential damage of setting a precedent is higher than the potential damage of Frog just losing some money.
Can we split it and say 50, like something like 25, 50%?
Refund
not
half?
the full.
That's a
Yes.
That's
a small goodwill gesture But then Kev,
I feel like that's the worst of both worlds, because then it'd be like
I agree.
Moj would be like, why is half my money gone still? Like, I know I don't. To be honest, guys, I know we're debating about fake in-game money, but I'm not sure what to do here. So I'm at a loss.
Can we just vote?
We can decide, oh, we should have refunded and then refund later, but we can't really decide, oh, we shouldn't have refunded and not refund later and undo the refund later.
Sorry, what? I'm confused what you're saying here.
I think it would be easier to decide in the future to go ahead and refund if we decide not to refund now than it would be to in the future if we decide, oh, shoot, we should not have refunded, to undo the refund in the future.
Okay, but I'll counter argument. The likelihood of this situation happening again is extremely low. So I think it doesn't matter. Yeah. Like
Which situation?
this kind of situation, as we said. Like, it's not. What's the likelihood of this sort of situation happening again? It hasn't had this is very new.
Oh.
This sort of refund request, we've never had a refund request like this in the past 13 years. Honestly, like, I don't recall any. I cannot remember like the last time this sort of thing has happened. So
I think, like, like one compromise is that we refund fraud, but we make it clear that we'll not be handling similar refund requests in the future. It's like if the transaction is complete and then there are no ambiguity or controversies about it, then we'll not be handling
saying that.
refunds of this in the future.
What if we just say we won't do it in the future? Now it's like, oh, why does fraud get special treatment, but no one else does?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should do it in the future. That's what I'm saying. If they have similar situation arise, we should be refunding them.
but the similar situation is very rare.
Yeah.
Yes.
So all I'm saying, I don't think the precedent matters because we will just do the same next time.
how do you guys want to proceed here? Do you want to vote on it, or do you want me to? I could make a decision here myself, or like that is an option too. If
I don't see the harm in voting.
Yeah, let's vote.
okay, we're agreeing that this vote is binding. So whatever we decide here, based on the staff in present.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about the
Let's
absentees?
copy
as
on-
well, though?
Okay, I'll just also say, can staff abstain? Because I may consider just abstaining because I don't know what to do. Can I do that?
You can just not vote.
I will not vote
You can
then.
vote neutral.
Well,
No,
I'm
you
not
have
saying
to
yes or
vote.
no. I'm saying I don't want to participate in this vote. Is what it is, because I don't know what to do. I'm gonna
I
leave.
guess it's,
Yep.
I guess
I would
voting
argue that that's a
present.
neutral vote.
No,
An
Can-
abstention is because you have a conflict of interest.
no, you're not understanding what I'm saying here. Where this is not a moderator or conductor vote. This is simply yes, we do the refund. No, we don't. I'm
Yes, it
saying.
is.
I'm saying I don't know what to do. I don't want to say yes or no.
I think that is important information to consider.
What I don't understand what you
That
mean.
there are moderators who understand the situation, don't have a conflict of interest, but don't really have any idea what to do.
I'm not understanding what you're saying here. Are you agreeing with what I'm doing or not?
I'm saying that the fact that you have that opinion is, I think, enough to warrant influencing the vote.
I'm saying that because
if it turns out like
yeah. I'm saying that now. Well, I have to say it now. Otherwise, like to just tell you that this is what I like. I am. How do I say this? I do not want to vote. I am stepping away from this vote.
I would argue
But-
that if enough people step away, then we don't have quorum.
Then let's
And
find
we
out if
need-
we do. Let's find out
Okay,
if we do
sure.
if we have that. Okay.
So about the vote, or
What about the people who aren't here though? They like the staff members
So
aren't.
we have
That's just
there are absentee ballots. I think it's fair to count them.
Yes.
Okay. So
just a question about the vote is this vote going to be precedent setting? Like,
It sounds like it is,
sounds
regardless even what we do. So, yeah, like
So, binding vote, if it goes through with quorum, refund. If it doesn't, we dismiss it and say, tough luck.
okay.
Does somebody want to randomize the staff list?
I will do it since I guess it's all another thing is since I'm not voting, I can at least do this a little bit objectively. So let's see here. So randomize the list. I can't believe we're doing
the
this.
absentee ballot, or are we not doing the absentee ballots? Sorry.
No, we are counting them, so I will count them.
Okay.
Unless you want to overwrite your own.
Yeah, if you're okay,
As usual.
randomize. Okay, is someone taking minutes? AP, are you?
Yes.
Good? Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Missa is not in the meeting, so I will count them as the did not vote. He left earlier because I think he got tired of our shit. So yeah, they're just fair, honestly. Next up is Alpha.
I'll be voting against just because of the precedence.
Okay, so no. I'm up next. I am not in this vote. Foot.
I'm also voting against because of the precedent.
Foot is saying no. DNA.
For
DNA saying yeah. Let's say yes or no here. Let's make it clear. So DNA
Yes.
saying yes. AP.
Yes.
AP saying yes. 7D submitted an absentee ballot and it said 4. Frozen.
That's a yes.
Frozen. What is your? Yeah. Frozen, it's up to you. So either you're voting yes for this, voting no, or you can just excuse yourself from the vote. Okay, Frozen's voting for, so I'll take that as a yes. HVT submitted an absentee ballot of, he said, I am in favor of a refund, so I'm going to interpret that as yes. MBF, I think we know your answer.
No.
No. Okay, so MBF says no. Polo, we haven't heard from you. What do you think about this?
Well, I've been listening this whole time. I'd say yes.
Okay, Polo says yes. Right, Sesh. I think we know your answer.
Yeah, I'm voting yes.
Sesh is voting yes. Vicky's not. Vicky was here, but I don't. She disappeared, so I don't know where she was. So Vicky's not part of the vote. Zooj is not part of the vote. Jinty.
No on precedent.
Jinty is saying no. Needon is not here. And then finally, Moraine submitted an absentee ballot. Moraine said yes, so 4. Maybe I should read what Moraine said, but I don't know. It's a lot of.
I
She
don't
wrote.
remember the absentee ballots anyway. I don't remember where they.
If we're arguing this much about it, yeah, we should.
Okay, I'll just read. It's a paragraph, so sorry about this. Moraine said, "This is not an enthusiastic guess as it breaks precedent." Oh, hey. Staff have never granted a refund request in recent memory according to the agenda, but I believe that this refund should be given due to the specific odd circumstances. The transaction was made in good faith between both parties, and Moj was very likely not intending to get an L3 warning and leave the server. However, the town of Marrowby is on the outskirts of Titansaki, Frog City. If Moj had not left the server, it would make sense for Frog to buy Werribee, as it would likely prevent future expansion of Titansaki. However, if Frog had not bought it and just waited 2 weeks, Frog would have an easy path to get the town for free anyways. From Frog's perspective, Frog effectively paid $2,500 to buy Werribee 2 weeks early. Had the time between when Frog bought Werribee from Moj and Moj leaving the server been longer, say 6 months, or Werribee had cost less, say $500, interesting point by Moraine, then I would maybe vote no here. Rule and procedure are made to provide a foundational structure, but if they are entirely rigid and unmovable, sometimes they can become brittle. Not giving Frog the refund wouldn't be the wrong decision, but it likely would lessen Frog's enjoyment of the server. Okay. Given Frog the refund would increase their enjoyment of the server, but it may perhaps open the door for something like this happening in the future. However, this situation is not very common especially for this amount of money and time between transaction and one party leaving the server. Huh, interesting. She covered all the points that we just argued. So,
Yeah, that was brilliant. I like that.
okay, so based on that, yeah, a majority is saying 4. It's not a strong majority, but it is a majority. So
Yeah.
Yep.
So Frog gets the money.
all right,
It is binding. Frog gets the money.
we'll go with it.
Did we agree that Moj loses the money?
Yeah, I think so. So we're going to remove the 2,500, and whatever, if Moj does return, we'll deal with the consequences of that. If Moj even cares about that, he may not.
Or even notices.
That too. So. Okay, we just argued almost an hour on fake money. I hope you guys are happy, but
How much of our lives did we just waste?
Too much.
The GSM is nearly 3 hours.
yeah, I would argue for the betterment of it, we are discussing it for the benefit of communities. So I mean, at least there's that benefit. So.
And we haven't even gotten to the trustee notes.
I hope they're.
God's
I think
sake.
they're short because I think Elite only ran them for 5 minutes. So let's hope.
Yes, they are quite short this time.
Okay, good. All right. Let's go to the trustee notes right away. Then let's get them over with. Who has it?
I can read
Violet.
it. Oh wait. Okay, never mind.
Violet has agreed to read it.
Oh no. Violet, do you want to come talk in here? Is that how this is going to work?
I don't like the fact that you said, "Oh no," but it's okay. I will accept that.
Yeah.
I will
Depends
accept
how
that
fresh
because
food
that is incredibly valid. I got kidnapped and sent to my town, so I cannot hand them out, but I'm just going to read them out. I've been told that normally these are incredibly annoying and long, and considering this is short, I could make it very, very annoying, but I'm not going to because we just spent 3 hours talking about
Money.
lots of things that frankly shouldn't have gone on in my opinion, but it's okay because I'm not part of the government. All right, government and rapid map, Minecraft Rapid Transit, MRT Chamber of Trustees, trustee meeting for November 8th, 2025. The Honorable Elite Neon was a speaker, yada, 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 whatever. Here are the nominations. The Honorable Zoran K. Mamdani for trustee, carries 2-0. Curtis Sliwa for trustee, carries 3-0. The bag of Halloween candy on Awesome Keldio's desk for trustee carries 2-0. The number $42,947.67, or sorry, 947.67 for trustee carries 3-0. Voting on the entire state of Indiana except for the city of Bloomington for trustee carries 3-0. Moving on to general business. Motion to ban trusteehood for Italian-American disgraced former politicians at or over the age of 67. Carries 3-0. Hashtag random Minecraft, dash Minecraft, the channel, for trustee. Carries 4-0. That was late, but it's fine. The speaker nominates the trustee for Athena's Town to read the minutes at the GSM. Motion to adjourn 3-1. Motion to give Violet and I all the string cheese passes 4-0. And I think that's literally everything. Yep. Also something about Elite Neon, speaker of the MRT Chamber of Trustees, had to use the restroom and therefore could not write a longer invocation. She blank on my blank till I blank. I am done.
The thing about cheese wasn't in the notes.
I know.
Did you just go
Fine.
rogue?
Yes, this is what happens when you make me speak. Anyway, I won't take more of your time. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Q&A?
Thank you. Yeah, Q&A, if there's anything, I don't know. Yeah, so now is the time for Q&A. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about any of the topics that we've discussed at this meeting or anything else, let me know. This is the last thing we're going to do before we end the GSM. Going once. Oh, Yoshi Pie has a question. Hi, Yoshi. What's your question? Oh, you're coming to speak. Oh, hi.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yes, hello.
It works by now. All right. Trumple, how do you feel about the player YoshiPie underscore getting 500 Minecraft Rapid Transit dollars just now?
For what?
Lottery.
Okay, fine. You can pay off fraud instead.
What? I'm not. What? What's happening?
Lottery. Just happened.
Congratulations.
And that
is the answer to the question. I want to join.
You're probably looking for a rage answer, but no, you're not getting that. No, seriously, congratulations. You got 500 fake dollars.
All right, I need to go now.
Okay. All right. I don't think there's nothing else. So we're gonna end the meeting. Thanks everyone for. Oh wait, hold on. Jesus Christ. Okay, Violet, what's your question? Just type it in. Close the channel. Okay, these are getting silly questions. Okay, meeting over. Goodbye. Thanks for attending.